Hey everyone, Erica with a K here. Today's video is going to be on how we live more sustainably. So I recently did a video talking about why we quit minimalism, and in that video I do thank minimalism for helping us live more sustainably in some aspects and how it wasn't helping us live sustainably in other aspects. So I do want to make this video a dedicated video to sustainability. I do want to say that I am not perfect at sustainability. We have a long way to go, but I do think that every little bit that we do for our world, for our environment, no matter how small we think our impact is, it is a big impact when you think about all the people in the world. And if all the people in the world just did a little bit, where we'd all be as a society. I also want to say I do not think I'm better than anybody because we try to live more sustainably. A lot of this does help with our budgeting, and I'll make a whole nother video talking about how we save money on our grocery bill, and it definitely ties into sustainability. But let's get started on this. So for starters, I mainly purchase clothes secondhand. I rarely purchase things from a store. I honestly can't tell you the last time that I was in a mall shopping for myself. I don't purchase things that aren't secondhand. I had in the past, and I don't do that anymore. So because of that, I'm keeping things out of landfills. I am not supporting fast fashion. I am not supporting consumerism. And I am also helping small businesses because most of what I purchase secondhand is purchased on Poshmark, which are small independent sellers. And I love supporting small business, and I'll always support small business. Even though I hate capitalism, I love small business. So most things are purchased secondhand. That mainly goes with fashion. Most of our things in like our kitchen and our house are all reusable. It is rare that we use paper plates. We would only use paper plates if we're having like an outdoor party and we don't have enough reusable plates for everybody. We'll pull out the paper plates. But besides that, everything that we have is reusable. We also use reusable baking sheets. You save so much by using reusable ones. We try to have less waste. So we cook for two and we don't overcook. And if we do overcook for ourselves, we'll always eat leftovers. If we're having a party at the house and we order too much food, we make sure that we consume those leftovers, whether it takes us 2 days or 5 days. We will finish that food, and that is just something that we always do that not only helps our budget, but it also is better for sustainability. We also try to grow our own food in our backyard, and the things that we do grow, we look up on the internet on all the purposes for it. So for example, we picked our own sunflowers and we found all the uses for sunflowers, and that's sunflower tea, that's you could eat it, use inside the stalks, you can get flour. There's so many uses for a plant like a sunflower, and also like a dandelion. And so we just make the best out of the things that we have, and we use everything to its fullest purpose. Do a lot of things ourselves so that we don't have to buy furniture, or we don't have to buy low quality, high price, and we'll eventually end up in a landfill. So we try not to purchase anything like that. We try to make everything like that ourselves. We're also both pretty handy on a sewing machine. If things don't fit us correctly, instead of getting rid of it, tossing it, or whatever the case is, we will alter the things, we'll sew things. And I have a whole series on my channel called Manipulating Fabric, and I want to get more into that in this year of just showing how I could upcycle things, and anything could be turned into anything else. And it's really a fun thing to do. It's nice, fun, and relaxing. So learning to sew, learning to knit, learning to crochet, those are all like antiquated things, but they're really useful in sustainability, and I love doing it. And also, like, I look at every piece of fabric now and every article of clothing, and I'm like, I could turn that into such and such. And it also helps because I've never purchased fabric in my life. Everything has been an article of clothing, or like a bed sheet, or like a drape or something turned into an outfit. And I think that that's really cool, like to repurpose things. And like I said, kind of with the sunflower and dandelion, like get the most use out of something instead of just hopping on to the next thing. So we're vegan, but our dogs are not, and we do feed them meat. And when we make them meat, there's usually a lot of, I think it's called beef tallow, which I know a lot of people turn into like soaps and moisturizers. We don't. And originally we were throwing that out along with the meat jelly. And I said to my husband, I was like, we got to find a better use for this, because it just feels really sad to me that this is going into a landfill. Like, why are we tossing this? There's got to be a better use. And so I found that the beef fat can be used with other products that we had in our house to make bird feed. And we do have bird houses, so that worked out really well. And then the meat jelly separates from the meat fat, and that can also be frozen or added to our dog's food as like an extra treat. They love it. We also take out the lint from our dryer and I put that as fire starter. I usually compile a bunch of stuff like packing material or boxes that we have, and I put it with the lint from the dryer as fire starter. And so instead of throwing that out, being wasteful, we just burn it. I said this in the minimalism video, but taking stock of our wardrobe has been huge. It's great to know what we need and what we definitely don't need. And especially my husband and I are both neurodivergent, so we do very much get stuck on if we like something, we got to get it in every color, or if we like something, we got obsess over it. And it helps us to not continually purchase the same black t-shirt or the same white t-shirt or the same thing that we have. Taking stock of our wardrobe has helped us with sustainability to know like this is what I need versus I don't need another one of these. I want to tell you that we compost, but I'm terrified of bears coming in our backyard, and we tried to compost recently and we had a bunch of animal poop that was not from our dogs in our backyard, and our dogs were obsessing over it. So composting is kind of not really where we're at right now, but we really don't waste much food. We try to eat as much of the food as possible that we have. Like I said, we do also garden, so we do grow our own food. I don't know why that freaks me out less than composting, but we do grow a lot of our own plants and stuff like that. I try to put plant matter back into the earth. So even if it's food like tomatoes and stuff like that, I just try to throw it back into the backyard and just let it disintegrate, I guess. I guess it's kind of like a composting. It's probably drawing animals in, but we don't have a traditional composter. But that's something that I do. Instead of throwing it in the garbage, I'm like, well, it's plants and it could just go back outside. It's plant matter. When I'm about to declutter, instead of deciding like I'm gonna get rid of this, I'll just put it aside and maybe revisit it in the future, because sometimes I get rid of things that I wish I didn't get rid of, and I regret that. And to be more sustainable is to get rid of less stuff that you might need in the future instead of repurchasing it. And so that's kind of a big one for me. I'll just declutter, like just say my wardrobe, and I'll just put them away in boxes. Almost how people like separate their winter and fall clothes. I don't do that because I mix and match, but how people will separate their winter and fall clothes, I kind of do that. Like I'll just start decluttering things that I don't want right now, and I'll put those aside. And those are things that maybe I'll sew in the future. Maybe I'll turn it into something else, or maybe I'll be like, you know, I actually wanted that. I've been thinking about that. I want to wear that. If you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up. These are just some small ideas that I came up with on how we live more sustainably. We are not perfect by any means, and I don't think that I'm better than anybody by living this way. But I would love to hear from you guys if there's any things on this list that resonates with you, or if there are other ways that I'm overlooking that we can be more sustainable. I'd love to hear it. Let's open up the conversation in the comments down below. Like I said earlier in this video, you might not think that doing small little things like this makes a difference, but I really think it makes a huge difference. And the more of us get on board with making small little mindful changes, the better off we'll be as a society. I love you all so much, and I hope to see you guys in my next video. Bye.